Welcome to Fun is Fundamental. Fun is Fundamental is a podcast for those who realize that the enjoyment of life is about having something deep in our souls which lights our fire. It's for those who maybe have lost that fire and feel like they are missing out on the pleasures of life. In each episode, I will share recent fun activities and focus on why having fun is essential for good health. I'm your host, Alenia, and I invite you to take this journey with me and join the pleasure-seeking movement. Hi, welcome to Fun is Fundamental, and excuse my voice. I'm kind of a little bit raspy today, so yeah, I'll get through it anyway. It'll be okay. On today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about the trip that I mentioned that was kind of a big deal. I'm quite sure I know for a fact, actually, I'll say that I had mentioned it in some interviews, just because it's something I had anticipated for so long. I was so excited about. So this trip was our, quote, Buddymoon, unquote. My husband and I got married last summer, and I mean, really for years we had talked about wanting to do a big trip with friends, and getting married is such a big deal. In theory, you only do it once in your life. Yeah, in theory. And so we knew we would get a good response, of a lot of people being like, yeah, I want to go. So, and also Casey and I have been together for now almost 9 years. So, last year was almost 8 years. So, we've spent a lot of time together, a lot of time alone together. We've done a lot of our own little anniversary trips. And so, we didn't feel like we needed romantic alone time, that a honeymoon provides. So we just wanted to have it be something fun. So we got 8 of our friends to go with us. So it was 10 of us total. And we had already gone down to San Jose del Cabo and Cabo San Lucas, Los Cabos, a couple of years earlier. And between, us enjoying it, the flight not being very long, and the price of flights, we figured it would be really accessible to most people. So it just kind of was a no-brainer. That's a great choice for us to go to. So we went down there, but we didn't stay in the city. We were up in on the Sea of Cortez, kind of near La Riviera. So definitely isolated, no cell reception. There was Wi-Fi, luckily, but yeah, no cell reception, dirt road to the house, and just not a lot of people. We were right on the beach, and barely saw anyone at all around there. So, which is cool. It was nice to have a pretty private beach. The house was huge. It's 6 rooms or something like that. Yeah, really big, and had a hot tub and a pool, and so many sitting areas, and this huge outdoor area. It was really cool. And then it's well set up. There was lots of snorkeling gear. There were stand-up paddleboard, canoe. There was a lot of equipment to use and have fun with. So yeah, we had a great time. We set up some things that I'm going to break down a little bit more in other episodes. We had a really lovely experience with our the company that we did the sunset cruise with. That was one of the only times we went down to the city because it was like 2 hours to get to uh, Cabo San Lucas, and the roads are not very good. It's bumpy and potholy. There's cows out on the road, so that was like kind of like a problem. We were coming home, like, it, like, sunset's not that late, and we'd be on these like windy, bumpy roads, and then there'd just be like a cow there, and you're just like, okay. So you have to go like slower than normal than you think you do. So we definitely didn't go in town very much because of the pain in the butt that it was to drive on those roads, and it's 2 hours, like, it's not nothing. So, but we did go to that, and then we did UTV, and had a lot of fun doing that. And people did some snorkeling. I'll talk some more about that. Yeah. I mean, generally, like, we just had a great time, It was just relaxed, and I definitely like overindulged, which is not unusual for me. I tend to overindulge like all the time. I'm working on that, you know. I'm working on like not seeking so much instant gratification, and like working through like FOMO, so that I'm not like always like, oh, I have to have this, because it's like, you know, you'll never have an opportunity to have it again. I mean, obviously, what, there's nothing saying that I couldn't get hit by a car and die this week, but is it really going to be that I missed out on like a piece of cake or something like that I'm going to regret? So yeah, I don't need to be so overindulgent. So like, because I was overindulgent, like I was getting like heartburn, which I like don't get very often, and which probably was actually from alcohol more than anything. Just because like it's not normal for me to drink every day. It's like maybe once a week I drink, kind of thing. But I was drinking every day, so I was getting heartburn after a few days. So physically, I was ready to go because I was just like felt like super blah, and like multiple people were having like digestive issues, and like just like feeling tired because like we're up kind of late, but then like we want to get up for the sunrise and like things like that. So just not getting enough sleep. So physically, I was ready to go home, but like emotionally, mentally, I was not ready to go home. It was only 5 days. It's not really enough in a way. And hopefully, if I did something like this again, and I did longer, I just would like pace myself with the fun foods and stuff like that. I guess like when you're just trying to jam pack so much into 5 days, you both maybe overschedule a little bit, but also, yeah, just eat too much rich food, and drink too much. Definitely not to the point of like throwing up or something like that, but just my body, I'm getting older. I just can't handle, my body just doesn't want me to drink that much anymore, So, Hi, this is editing me. You can tell because I don't have a scratchy voice. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the overindulgence kind of thing. And I mean, I think it really comes down to, the work hard, play hard kind of thing that we have in our culture. Because, I mean, we have such a little amount of vacation time generally. I mean, when I was a teacher, I had more, but I didn't have generally didn't have the money to do something on all of those vacations. So I definitely had actual downtime to do nothing more when I was a teacher. But now I have a job where I have literally 5 days of vacation. That's it for that's all. And burnout is really a big issue in my field of work. I don't know if I've really talked about that much. I work in a senior living facility. You know, Generally we have a hustle culture, but we also have a culture of people that are caregivers not being valued. And, you know, if you're constantly giving of yourself, you have to be able to recharge. And, there's not really a lot of time to recharge because I get 5 days of vacation, and I get the bare minimum sick leave. So I guess I'm just saying generally that people tend to burn their candle at both ends, and, I go on vacation and I walk away exhausted. I had a great time and I wouldn't change it for the world, but if we didn't live in a culture that had, if we lived in a culture that had more value for its workers, its essential workers, because I'm considered an essential worker. I'm considered if it snows, I'm still expected to be there, that kind of thing. And I work holidays, I work Christmas. So I think generally workers are not valued, and it contributes to that feeling that you have to go all out, you know. Anyway, I'm kind of saying something, I mean, I feel like most people know this fact, and I don't really need to spell it out for you, but I just figured I kind of needed to be oh yeah, so obviously this is why it was oh, I keep on using the word overindulging, but also just feeling like you have to plan, every something for pretty much every day. We kind of had one day where we purposefully didn't plan anything. But, generally it's just you feel like you have to just stuff as much as possible into it because it's all you have. You don't have decent vacation time, because you're not valued. So, anyway, back to the rest of the episode. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to keep this short. I'm going to have other episodes where I talk about the specific things that some of the specific things that we did, but just, generally I feel so lucky to have these friends and to have people that donated money to our honey fund for us to go on go on this trip. I have to say though, for planning, it's really hard to plan for 10 people, and in the future I might just be hey, do you trust my judgment? Because I think I'm a good host, and so I kind of would just if they trust me to just take over planning and not have to ask everyone's opinion on all these things because it's hard to get opinions of 10 people. So in the future, I might just be like, hey, you cool? Okay, I think so. I guess that's about it for today. Next week will be another interview. Anyway, I hope that you have a fun week. You have some fun, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye.